Welcome to a new episode of DevSecOps Talks with me, Matthias.
Andre.
And Paulina?
Yeah, it's in new order.
Paulina.
It's like singing. Huh? We had a topic for today. Andre, what was it?
It's 10 years of HashiConf. And HashiConf is the official conference of HashiConf.
Whoa!
The companies that we all know and love, or at least used to love. Right now, I guess there are divided opinions about that. Since they got acquired by IBM.
Yes.
But generally, the companies that we know, the company behind such tools as Packer, Terraform, Boundary, Vault, and they usually have 2 conferences per year. So they would have one in EU, they would have one in US. So that's one that we are talking about is in US.
Yeah.
I got an opportunity to actually present at the EU edition. Like 5 years ago or something like that, during the COVID times where it was possible to do that remotely. So it's good to catch up where the HashiConf and HashiCorp are, and what they have announced.
Cool. But first, Andre, 10 years you've been working with HashiCorp, I'm guessing.
Give or take, yeah. So Packer, Terraform, I had quite a bit of experience with Vault back in the day when I've been doing Kubernetes, like let's say 2017 to 22-ish. And then since 22, I haven't done much of Kubernetes. And then also like everything that AWS had was good enough for the startups. So like the Vault story and the Vault place more for established companies who would want to host their secrets on their own and have like PKI capabilities. And the licenses are quite pricey, so like they're aiming banks basically and companies like that.
It felt for me for a couple of years ago that these tools that HashiCorp had was the go-to tools when you started. Like, is it the same? The tools where you go, Paulina, Andre, like when you find things?
I think it depends. So some
of them. If you go for like infra is like Terraform the default one, you always go for that one. Like,
I would do that, yes.
Yeah, for IC, that's the default one. For the rest, it depends.
It depends. Okay.
For example, for like secrets on Kubernetes, or that's the default usually to use Vault as well for the majority of the cases.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Sorry for jumping in with a lot of questions. Let's jump into the announcement. What can you say?
Right. I have a blog post that we're going to link. We're going to mention everything that they announced and give our take and what we know about it.
Yeah.
And we can start with Terraform Actions, use Red Hat Ansible automation platform. Codify day 2 workflows for fast infrastructure changes.
Yeah.
So
it felt
well,
Terraform and Ansible. It has a name like terrible.
Terrible.
Yeah, people were gluing those two as soon as IBM acquired HashiCorp. The people were making those jokes, and now those jokes are reality.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't really change necessarily that people are stop using it from one day to another, even if the stuff are getting worse.
No.
I would say there is a use case for that. So time to time, I find myself in a situation where I need to do some kind of follow-up action after the Terraform apply. I mean, I think the example that people usually come up with is if you manage everything through Terraform, you would put something to S3 and you have cloud front in front of it, and then you need to call cache invalidate.
Yeah.
Something like that. And you would do like a null resource and bash out usually like with Terraform. So this is now it's like more supported way of doing that. So there's those Terraform actions where you can also plug in Ansible if you really want. generally, in most cases, like if you playing it cool and you're doing immutable infrastructure, there should be no need for that. There are some edge cases where you might need it, but well.
Yeah, so isn't it also right, when you run your Terraform, it's like shoot and forget sometimes. If you do immutable infrastructures, that's fine. You apply it and then you go. But if you don't, then you have things living inside your environment that you need to check, right? Day 2 operations. And then you need Ansible for those tasks, right? Isn't that the operation is like, as you said, right? Ansible going in and validating day 2 kind of work, right? When you don't use Terraform for.
Yes. So, yeah, well,
Yeah.
someone might find it useful, but I don't see it as a killer feature we've been missing. But I guess it's like a little bit of IBM push here coming in, like with Ansible and like Ansible after Red Hat, Ansible automation platform. And by the way, I seen the news today that Red Hat got hacked because they were self-hosting GitLab of all things, and that got pouched with everything inside it. Like, just pay GitHub.com. They have a better security team that you don't. Like, please stop doing that. Stop self-hosting your code. You're gonna be hacked, like, because you don't have a good enough security team to keep that.
You would be
Secure.
surprised
Oh,
how many teams are going into or organizations are going into self-hosted stuff.
Well, we had a customer like who was also self-hosting GitLab on a publicly, in a cloud instance that was publicly exposed. Like if you self-host it, well, at least put it behind VPN or something. Make
you
it
know
private.
what? This gonna be a new episode, and you're gonna be able to list the 10 things that you should not self-host.
Yeah, but basically we had to evict people mining crypto on that instance because, well, they obviously found some unpatched vulnerability. No one ever patches those GitLab instances they have. And it's open internet. Just sad story.
Yeah.
Don't do that, people. Anyhow, like if you be in Red Hat Ansible automation platform customer, now they got your data.
Yeah, too bad. Time to move to Terraform.
I think in some where organizations, it's more common to self-host some stuff, especially when they need to support hardware. At least that's what I can see the trend. When they need to, it's not only software where they create the product, but it's both. Very often there is higher chance they doing, self-hosting solutions.
Right. Yeah. Then if you're staying with Terraform, actually I have like a separate post here. We have Terraform stacks. Going GA. Matthias, are you super duper excited about that? Like, will you start using the Terraform stacks today or tomorrow?
No, I don't know. A lot of companies, when you talk about Terraform stack, you're talking about the look at compliance service that they have, right?
Well, the official Stack Overview documentation. Hold on, I just want to find how they define it. Here it is. Terraform Stacks is a new configuration layer on top of Terraform models that helps you reason about infrastructure components and deployments in a more structured way. Rather than having one root model that describes everything, you break your infra into logical components, and then you define deployments that instantiate those components. So you can have a networking component, and then you deploy that to dev stage and so on. You also get orchestration rules about when plan applies, can run across deployments, and stacks can coexist with workspaces in the same project. So that's what they say.
I'm not a big fan of this kind of limiting security or stacks on that level, right? It will mean that when you want to do something and you can't do with a stack, someone's going to be creative and solve the problem, and then it's outside the stack. So I would rather go and start monitoring what's actually running like in real time.
I don't think it's like a security feature how you're portraying it. It's
but it's like
the structure which you are using, but I'm not sure if it's.
Yeah, I mean that's what I mean. Like, it's like when you're building, you start with a new tool that you're gonna develop, and they have all this like it's with batteries included. And as soon as you're gonna do something that's outside what they think you should do, then you're in trouble, right? And then people are gonna be creative, and they're gonna solve the problem.
Well, I think Stacks is a play on like a platform engineering.
Yeah.
So basically, like the platform is supposed to give you components that you can deploy, and that's what I think you're supposed to do through Terraform Stacks. And also, if you read infrastructure's code book, that like the notion of Stacks was defined there in second edition.
Oh.
Something like talking about the cloud and deploying a set of resources together that's becoming a stack, and then you deploy that stack to development, staging, production. So getting like a higher level abstraction on top of the models, which is nice for complex deployments.
I agree and disagree. I mean, from one side, sure, it's nice to group stuff and that you don't need to remember about too many stuff to being able to deploy it. But at some point, you need to, couple up your infrastructure with the application code or whatever is running there. Because you want to have a certain version, whichever you deploy. I don't know if they also support within the Stacks deployment, or you need to do it via separate platform.
Yeah, the listeners who are paying attention, they might notice that we're using a lot of guessing in our description of Terraform stack.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons is that the stacks are portrayed as HCP first feature. And HCP going to be HashiCorp platform. So it's like the HashiCorp cloud, if you like. HashiCorp cloud platform, I think. It's something like that. And Terraform for a long time. So if you look at the history of HashiCorp, I had the privilege to talk to both founders, like during my days where I was very deep into HashiCorp stuff and attending the conferences. And I did ask Mitchell back in the day, what is the success? You build a successful open source company. What was one of the key decisions that made it possible? Because there are other open source companies that are struggling to monetize, and HashiCorp was really good at that. And he told me that look, we were aiming to fight. We knew who our customer base. It's top 500 companies. We're building products for them, but for instance, Vault, right? So that the Vault, they build it for them to solve their problems, and that's how they monetize it. Terraform was a good tool in the cloud age to manage your cloud workloads, but there was no clear path for monetization until they started to build HCP. So with HCP, HashiCorp, the company, would host their tools for you and provide you with additional benefits. For instance, running Vault is operational on its own. You need to keep it secure. You might also offload it to HashiCorp, who build the tools, they really know it well, and then through the private connections in the cloud, like an Azure or AWS or Google, they will make it available within your account or VPC, what have you. But you will pay them for running it, making it secure and so on. So you consume that as a service. And it was a great idea, but then they started to add features for open source projects like Terraform that were HCP only. So if you don't use HCP as a paying subscriber, sorry, those features are not for you. And that's why I think we have a little bit of guessing here, because none of us are paying HCP user of Terraform.
No.
So that's why we are a little bit vague about that, and we cannot really tell you how much this feature is useful. It might be very well. I think the companies like Spacelift, for instance, and Zero and others that provide automation around Terraform, they kind of have the same stacks notion, and you might be able to try it there. But HCP Terraform pricing is strange, to put it this way, because you're basically paying $1 per any kind of resource under management, which means that security group, which is free in AWS, is going to cost you $1. IAM policy, which is free in AWS, will cost you $1. And you have like hundreds and thousands of that. So you can actually, your bill might be very, very high, very, very quickly. There are certain like tiers and stuff, so most probably it's done to be discussed within the enterprise agreement, so no one pays those prices, so they pay discounted prices, but still, it makes you clear that it's not for you as a small team. Like, I don't think they aiming at you with that kind of offering.
But true. But as we said before, now we talked about the stack in cloud only.
Yes.
There
is also a new feature that they added, Terraform Search, that allows you to discover import resources in bulk more efficiently and accurately, which is also HCP feature.
Yeah. And that's just going to be because you have so many modules and stuff, so you can search and find the ones, right? So
this is mostly done for the mass import. Like importing stuff into the cloud, in the Terraform state is paid.
Yeah.
Always been. They're trying to solve it. So the Terraform Search, you're first of all able to find resources, but then you're also able to import them. At least this is how they position it. Again, HCP feature.
So they position it as you can import it automatically.
Yes.
That would be good, because if you by accident mess up with the state, or sometimes your authentication run out in the middle of deployment,
there are many
more complex
use cases for that.
Yeah. But as I see so far, the integration, of course, with Ansible to try to work a little bit with day 2 operations, right? Not just keep people still using the services, right? Just to set up the cloud, but continue like the daily working with them. And then I see a lot for HashiConf Work Cloud offering. Like, are there anything that's like for the community that we can start using and it benefits for us, or is this only corporate now?
I think it's also HCP-only feature.
Okay.
And then they also have Terraform MCP server.
Yeah,
obviously,
everybody else.
Everyone has MCP server.
Everybody has one, right?
Even my grandma now have MCP server.
Well, I was supposed to teach my grandpa how to use AI, so.
So Terraform MCP server, it says increase developer productivity by connecting your HCP Terraform or Terraform Enterprise account to your AI assistant.
Wow.
Nice. If you have HCP account.
So now you can get your agent to do a lot of stuff by query the agent, and he will know what you have in Terraform. Well, it could be kind of nice. You can query maybe and see what resources you're using and that sort of stuff.
Yes.
But across ECP.
So one thing that could be beneficial, for example.
That's interesting. Yeah, can you see drift that? We need to find an answer.
It gives you a way to connect your HCP instance, like your Terraform or your Terraform Enterprise server, to your AI agent, whatever you are using, and query it through. So it's a good feature if you are an enterprise user and you're paying. There is another one, Terraform hold your own key, which means like you can bring your own encryption key for the encryption, for the sensitive data in HCP Terraform.
Yeah.
You guys thought that HashiCorp going to give you hold your own key encryption for free for open source. That's not what publicly traded companies do. No, that's not happening.
Also enterprise only.
Enterprise only. Terraform pre-written Sentinel policies that allows you to enforce NIST SP 853 Ref 5 controls across AWS environments. While Sentinel is a rule engine that prevents people from doing bad stuff when you're doing Terraform Enterprise, which is not like Sentinel rules are not available for open source. and it goes on like that. You also have Azure Copilot with Terraform integration. It doesn't really tell you if it's HCP-only feature. There is Terraform Run Task for cloudability governance. I think that's I believe also HCP. So it's pretty much all enterprise features.
But I mean, isn't that much really that? I mean, the stack could be interesting, maybe if you're building something to be able to stack them. Otherwise, I don't see that much news that I can start working with, right?
I think if you pay for it, you get more new features. But for open source, I don't see that much change, which could be useful for us.
I mean, if you have most of us has our Terraform in a repo. We run it daily, right, or weekly to do deployment stuff. I don't see anything here for us, right? Like.
Yep, that was my take actually. I've been reading that. There are actually more things. For now, we're just talking about Terraform, but there are obviously more announcements. Yeah. It's actually this conference was Terraform-heavy. The previous conference didn't have as many features, but it's the first time when I read announcements from HashiConf, and it's like, I understand it's not for me. And Terraform open source, it's kind of like you see that the direction is not really going anywhere. All the features are for enterprise. It makes sense, really. It does, because that's what people pay. But first time, I have a feeling that, well, we've been looking for the reason to switch to OpenTofu. That's kind of pushing you in that direction. So there is not much innovation going on in Terraforms that are open source focused, and it's fine. I mean, that's the choice of HashiConf as a company.
Yeah.
But it just sends a clear signal to us as a practitioner that all the good stuff now is behind the paywall. Like, you can keep using the tool, but you're not getting much out of it. It's going to probably stay the same on open source side. Some of that might trickle in, like I think if they don't see much demand for some of them, they might trickle in back to open source. But who knows?
I mean, the search. I think how the market gonna reply, because but I haven't, working across customers or within my own network, I haven't heard anyone who's using it particularly and pay for HashiCorp platform. And I'm quite active in the community and across customers and across different people. So that's at least quite big, for Denmark, across Denmark, that's quite good sample of people who are working with it. So I don't know, let's see. But also I agree. I think, if there would be non-development and OpenTofu gonna be developing faster, it might be quite a big switch towards this direction.
Okay.
Right.
We're coming up to 25 minutes.
No, there is more. Hold on.
It's more? Okay.
There is more, no.
Okay.
We're not wrapping up just yet. I think it makes sense to mention Vault. So they have Vault secret separator now for the Kubernetes. And there was like the Vault drivers and everything 8 years ago. Apparently that story keeps evolving. I actually really surprised to see it, because I thought we solved the secrets injection in Kubernetes for now.
Yeah.
But now we have like another probably better way of doing it. There is also Vault plus OpenShift SCI provider, which allows you again mount the secrets. You have HCP Vault. Again, HCP stands like the cloud version of it. Radar Jira scanning, so you can scan your Jira instance for the secrets and stuff. And they had a bunch of scanners built into Vault over the years, actually. So like all the stuff where you could like wikis and stuff, your Vault will know about the secrets, and it can go and find them and actually raise for you as a radar. That's like very useful feature. And I know like almost every big company out there, I would see them as a Vault user. There is very little competition, and HashiCorp is doing really, really well there. So this is like the money bringing part of their business, I believe. Obviously, you have MCP for Vault. They also announced boundary RDP credentials injection. Like if you, for instance, connecting somewhere, to Windows, now you can inject the credentials and authorize your connection, which is nice.
That's enterprisey. Boundary RDP. It has been you could do that for SSH for years, right?
Yes. So the good stuff. And finally, the big thing that they announced, which I think very clever was it's Project Infograph. So this is what they say. I quote the blog post. While MCP servers provide a human-centric interface to drive platform tools with AI, agent and models still need context about your unique infrastructure to be effective. Yes.
Yeah.
Generic LLMs don't know anything about your actual environment. Correct. All of our product emits essential data about secrets, identity, access, infrastructure state, and policy compliance. We want to capture and formalize that data in a central place for AI to use. We are calling initiative around this functionality Project Infograph. So basically, I believe what they're saying here is very, very true. And the people in HashiCorp are smart because my personal belief that every company out there will need something like this because you have a data, right, like which is sits in silos, disconnected. You have your source code, you have your runbooks, you have your logs, you have your AWS account. All of that is disconnected, and it's very hard to use AI efficiently to make judgments about them. So this is the fact. So you would need to have an internal knowledge graph system. Like forget about platform engineering, forget about development platform, internal development platform. What you need is a knowledge graph within your company. And they're saying you use our stuff and you use more of IBM stuff, and we will able to put it all together and have connectors for the rest of the system. So this is what they're saying. And I think this is very smart. And I see there will be more companies doing that. So I applaud HashiCorp for their vision, and they're actually like running in front of industry with this one. So this is very smart.
It's clever. It is.
That's also not open source. That's also paid feature.
Obviously not.
It's good to mention.
Yeah. It's right. I mean, it will become more. I mean, if you run everything in AWS, you also have that. You can just get it, right?
Yeah. So like what the examples they give to you, just to explain, because like I actually was pounding the same exact problem for last 3 or 4 months. So and like imagine you have your cloud CLI or what have you, like Amazon Q. You ask it a question, but it have no idea what you got. It might have credentials, it might go look it up, but it's slow. It makes every lookup, it costs you tokens, it's inefficient. So what you need is a RAG database of everything you got, or knowledge base graph that you can query to, before you start, looking for something. It will give a grounding for AI, right?
Yeah.
It will ground it to the fact, so it could argue about your question based on already this, that like it would know about it. Like if, for instance, Matthias and I work in the same project, Matthias asked me like, that server seems to be misbehaving. I can accurately answer that because I can figure out what he's talking about based on my knowledge of the system.
Yeah.
Exactly the same as I right now. They're missing this knowledge of the system that they need to in order to be efficient. If you're talking about any kind of assistant development or assistant troubleshooting. So this is really good approach, and I'm sure we're gonna see a lot of that.
It's interesting to see where it goes.
So we're running out of time. Let's wrap up.
Yeah. Running out of time.
I tried to stop him like 50 minutes ago, but he's
on the fire today.
I want to get people, a good comprehensive picture of everything HashiCorp has to say.
It is.
If we missed something, or we misrepresented something, maybe one of those features were open source, we're actually about to find out because I'm starting to use the latest release of Terraform now. So in further episodes, we will correct ourselves or reach out to us and tell us that we were wrong. We will mention with your correction.
And listen to the next episode where we're going to talk about DORA report and what to is going on.
Yeah. Dora.
Again. Dora and Dora Exploradora.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.
Enjoy. Bye.
You have been listened to DevSecOps Talks with Matthias, Andre, and Paulina. For notes and information, please visit devsecops.fm. Thanks for tuning in.